The knife was wedged between two broken bricks like it had been waiting to be found. Caleb Mensah almost didn't see it. It was 6:12 a.m., the sky still bruised purple over the half-demolished apartment complex on Harlow Street. Caleb had worked construction for 15 years. He'd found rats in walls, cash in ceilings, even an old revolver once. But nothing like this. He bent down, thinking it was just another piece of scrap metal. Then he saw the dark crust along the blade. Not rust, blood, dried thick and brown, caked into the ridges of the handle. Caleb's stomach tightened. He stood still for a long moment, the city waking up behind him. A bus hissed at the curb. A dog barked in the distance. Somewhere, someone laughed. Normal sounds, but nothing felt normal anymore. He didn't touch it, didn't breathe on it. He pulled out his phone and dialed 911. By 7 a.m., the site was swarming with police. Detective Rowan Hale crouched in front of the knife, gloved hands steady. He'd seen enough crime scenes to know that murder doesn't disappear. It lingers. "This building been empty long?" Rowan asked. Caleb shook his head. "Evicted 2 weeks ago. We're gutting it today." Rowan studied the blade carefully. It wasn't a kitchen knife. It was heavy, serrated, purposeful. "Bag it," he told the forensic tech quietly. Caleb stood off to the side, hands in his vest pockets, heart pounding. He didn't know it yet, but he had just stumbled into a nightmare. 3 days earlier, 24-year-old Tessa Reed had been reported missing. She'd been last seen leaving her night shift at a local cafe, texting her roommate at 11:42 p.m. "Almost home." She never made it. Her phone had pinged near Harlow Street before going dead, but police hadn't found anything, until now. When the lab results came back, the station went silent. The blood on the blade matched Tessa. Rowan leaned back in his chair slowly. "Find me every tenant who lived in that building," he ordered. The list was long. Most had left quietly, but one name stood out. Derek Vaughn, 32, recently unemployed. History of assault charges that never stuck. Evicted from Unit 3B, 2 doors down from where the knife had been found. Rowan pulled up Derek's photo. Cold eyes, tight smile, the kind of face that looks normal until you stare too long. Here's the part that makes the story cruel. Derek had attended the press vigil for Tessa. He'd stood in the crowd holding a candle. He'd bowed his head when her mother cried. He'd whispered to reporters, "Whoever did this needs to be caught." He even hugged Tessa's roommate. That's the thing about wolves. They sometimes howl with the pack. Police brought Derek in for questioning. He wore a gray hoodie, calm, cooperative. "I moved out before anything happened," he said smoothly. "I didn't even know her." Rowan slid a photo of the knife across the table. Derek glanced at it. Blink. Nothing else. "Never seen it." Rowan nodded slowly. "We found it in the wall cavity outside your old unit." A pause. "That building's full of junk," Derek replied. Rowan watched him carefully. "You ever cook?" Derek smirked faintly. "Sometimes." "Own knives?" "Everybody owns knives." It was a dance, and Derek thought he was leading. The power shift came from somewhere no one expected. Caleb. The construction worker couldn't sleep after finding the knife. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw it, hidden, waiting. So he went back to the site after hours, alone. He told himself it was curiosity, but deep down he knew it was something else. He felt responsible. The building was almost fully gutted now, walls torn open, insulation exposed like raw nerves. And that's when he noticed it, in Unit 3B. The floorboards near the radiator had been replaced recently. The wood didn't match. Caleb's pulse spiked. He grabbed a pry bar. He hesitated, then pulled. The first board lifted easily. The smell hit him before the sight did. Sweet, rotten, unmistakable. He staggered back, called 911 again. His voice broke this time. There's something under the floor." Tessa had never left Harlow Street. She had been there the whole time. hidden beneath Derek's apartment. The knife wasn't just discarded evidence. It had been the first crack in the lie. Rowan stood outside the building as forensic teams worked inside. Derek had thought he was clever. He'd hidden her beneath the very place he once slept. He'd removed the weapon. He'd attended the vigil. He'd crafted the image of a grieving neighbor. But he underestimated something simple. Decay tells the truth, and so do walls. When police returned for Derek, his calm finally fractured. "You have nothing," he shouted as they handcuffed him. Rowan's voice stayed steady. "We have her." Derek went pale. The trial moved quickly. The forensic timeline, the hidden body, the knife with Tessa's blood, traces of Derek's DNA beneath her fingernails. She had fought hard. In court, prosecutors described how Derek lured her inside under the excuse of a power outage, how he panicked when she resisted, how he thought hiding her would erase what he'd done. The jury deliberated less than 4 hours. Guilty, life without parole. Tessa's mother wept quietly, not from relief, but from exhaustion. Justice had been served. But justice is a quiet thing. It doesn't clap, it doesn't celebrate, it simply closes the door. After sentencing, Rowan stepped outside the courthouse. Reporters asked him what cracked the case. He could have said forensic brilliance, could have said relentless police work, but he didn't. "A construction worker found a knife," he said simply. Caleb had been sitting in the back of the courtroom that day. He didn't feel like a hero. He felt lucky. Lucky he looked down. Lucky he paid attention. Lucky he called. Because evil often hides in ordinary places. And sometimes it's ordinary people who expose it. That night, Caleb returned home to his small apartment. He washed his hands longer than usual, sat at the edge of his bed, stared at nothing. He kept thinking about the wall, about how close he'd come to walking past it, and how many other walls in this city might still be hiding something. His phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. He frowned. "You should have minded your business." His breath stopped. Another message followed. "Not everything buried stays buried." Caleb's chest tightened. He looked at the number. Blocked. His mind raced. Derek was in custody. So who? A knock echoed at his apartment door. Slow, deliberate. 3 knocks. Caleb stood frozen. The knock came again, this time harder. He stepped toward the door cautiously, and through the peephole, he saw someone standing there, wearing a gray hoodie,